what do we learn about the tribe of Levi from 1 Chronicles 6? This is the question we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of 1 Chronicles on walking through the Bible.
The glory of his cross.
Today we're going to be discussing 1 Chronicles chapter 6, verses 1 to 30. But before we do that, let's read the passage. If you have a Bible with you, you can turn to 1 Chronicles chapter 6, verse 1. But if you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, 1 Chronicles chapter 6, beginning at verse 1. The sons of Levi were Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The sons of Kohath were Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. The children of Amram were Aaron, Moses, and Miriam. The sons of Aaron were Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Eleazar begot Phinehas, and Phinehas begot Abishua, and Abishua begot Buki, and Buki begot Uzzi. Uzzi begot Zerahiah, and Zerahiah begot Meraioth. And Meraioth begot Amariah, and Amariah begot Ahitub. Ahitub begot Zadok, and Zadok begot Ahimaaz, and Ahimaaz begot Azariah, and Azariah begot Johanan, and Johanan begot Azariah. It was he who ministered as priest in the temple that Solomon built in Jerusalem. Azariah begot Amariah, and Amariah begot Ahitub. Ahitub begot Zadok, and Zadok begot Shallum. Shallum begot Hilkiah, and Hilkiah begot Azariah. Azariah begot Seraiah, and Seraiah begot Jehozadak. Jehozadak went into captivity when the Lord carried Judah and Jerusalem into captivity by the hand of Nebuchadnezzar. The sons of Levi were Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. These are the names of the sons of Gershon, Libni and Shimei. The sons of Kohath were Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. The sons of Merari were Malai and Mushai. Now these are the families of the Levites according to their fathers. Of Gershon were Libni his son, Jahath his son, Zimmah his son, Joah his son, Iddo his son, Zerah his son, and Jethrai his son. The sons of Kohath were Aminadab his son, Korah his son, Asir his son, Elkanah his son, Abiasaph his son, Asir his son, Tahath his son, Uriel his son, Uzziah his son, and Shaul his son. The sons of Elkanah were Amasai and Ahimoth. As for Elkanah, the sons of Elkanah were Zophai his son, Nahath his son, Eliab his son, Joram his son, and Elkanah his son. The sons of Samuel were Joel the firstborn, and Abijah the second. The sons of Merari were Malai, Libni his son, Shimei his son, Uzzah his son, Shemaiah his son, Haggiah his son, and Asaiah his son. Coming now to chapter 6, we have thus far covered the genealogies of 5 of the 12 tribes of Israel. Some of those genealogies began with the patriarch and their immediate sons before skipping some generations to bring it closer to the captivity, while others simply named the patriarch before skipping the generations. Regardless, the chronicler is giving Israel an overview of their genealogies that would give them a little history of the nation as well as help them determine which tribe they came from. However, even with this being true, there was most certainly a more detailed register kept that would fill in some of the blanks that the chronicler left out. In chapter 6, the chronicler turns to the final son of the first 4 of Leah, not already mentioned, the tribe of Levi. This tribe, like the tribe of Judah, has an important place in Jewish life. Whereas from Judah came kings, from Levi came priests. No, not every Levite was a priest, but every priest was a Levite. To be a Levite, you had to descend from one of Levi's sons, Gershon, Kohath, or Merari. We've seen all these names mentioned before, beginning with Genesis 46, verse 11. To be a priest, though, you had to be from a specific family, the house of Aaron. Who then did Aaron descend from? Well, according to verses 2 and 3 from 1 Chronicles 6, Aaron came from the house of Kohath through Amram, one of the 4 sons of Kohath. Now, back in our study of Exodus 6 and Numbers 3, we showed how it was highly likely that there are missing generations from the lineage of Kohath, and that from 1 Chronicles 6 and Numbers 3, it is also highly likely that there were 2 Amrams in the house of Kohath, one who is a direct son of Kohath, and one who is descended from this first Amram and the father of Moses and Aaron. For a more detailed explanation of how we came to that conclusion, we invite you to listen to our lessons on Exodus 6, verses 20 to 30, and Numbers 3, verses 14 to 26, both of which can be found at eastendchurch.org under the Media Pull-Down menu in the WTTB English podcast link. So, coming to Aaron, we know that he had 4 sons: Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. In Leviticus 10, we know that Nadab and Abihu were killed by the Lord for offering him strange fire, and so, because they had no children at the time, their lines went extinct right then and there. Thus, the high priest who succeeded Aaron was Eleazar. He became high priest in Numbers 20, verses 25 to 28. We also met Eleazar's son Phinehas, who became the next high priest, as is confirmed to us back in Judges 20, verse 28. But the time period of Phinehas to the time period of Samuel, we're left with a large blank as to who became high priest after Phinehas. We do know that sometime during the period of the Judges, high priests began to come from the descendants of Ithamar, for Eli was from Ithamar. We don't know exactly when this change took place, but we do know that it did, and would change back to the house of Eleazar in the days of David and Solomon, when Zadok was made high priest. This Zadok was the son of Ahitub, something we were told for the first time back in 2 Samuel 8, verse 17. Between Phinehas and Zadok were 7 names listed. However, like with the rest of the genealogies here, it is likely that some names are missing, since we have to cover a period of over 350 years with just 7 people. Something that could be true. However, there also could be a couple more people in there that are not listed. The children of Zadok, though, we have met. Ahimaaz was one of the priests used as a messenger between Zadok and David during David's exile from Absalom. Azariah and Johanan were likely priests during the reigns of Abijah and Asa. Due to some repetition of names between Johanan and Hilkiah, we cannot be entirely certain which high priest served under which king, but we do know that at least one name is missing. For Jehoiada, the high priest during the days of Joash, in fact, it was him and his wife who saved Joash from being killed by Queen Athaliah, he's missing. So it is possible that a couple of other names are missing too. For one of the Azariahs was high priest during the days of Uzziah, Azariah in 2 Kings, according to 2 Chronicles 26. Whatever the case, there are a couple other names we do know, and that was Hilkiah, for he founded the book of the law in the days of Josiah, and Seraiah, for he was executed by Nebuchadnezzar in 2 Kings 25, verse 21. The chronicler then reveals to us that Jehozadak, Seraiah's son, was the priest who went off into captivity, though he never served in the temple due to it being destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar. So although there are some names that we don't know, there are a lot of names that we do, and that we have such a detailed list is important, for the priestly functions were only to be carried out by the house of Aaron, and after David, the family of Zadok. And so knowing which family you came from was important. But those weren't the only sons of Levi. You had Gershon, who had 2 sons who would become heads of the families of the Gershonites, namely Libni and Shimei, people we were introduced to back in Exodus 6, verse 17. You had the sons of Merari, who were Mahli and Mushai, fathers of the Merarites, people we were introduced back to in Exodus 6:19. Verses 19 to 30 gives us a further breakdown of each of these families, but there is one family I would like us to pay quick attention to, which is another son of Kohath, namely Amminadab. Now, Amminadab isn't mentioned in 1 Chronicles 6:18, so who could this person be? And if it weren't for his son Korah, we would never know. For this Korah is the same Korah that led a rebellion against Moses in Numbers 16 and subsequently died because of it. However, Numbers 26 verse 11 was very specific that his children did not die with him, meaning that they did not sin in rebelling against Moses, for they didn't rebel. Now, how can we be sure that the Korah mentioned here in verse 18 of 1 Chronicles 6 is the same Korah from back there? Well, back in Exodus 6, 21 to 24, we were introduced to the lineage of Korah. There we read, the sons of Izhar were Korah, Nepheg, and Zikri, and the sons of Uzziel were Mishael, Elzaphan, and Zithri. Aaron took himself Elisheba, daughter of Amminadab, sister of Nahshon, to wife, and she bore him Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. And the sons of Korah were Asir, Elkanah, and Abiasaph. These are the families of the Kohathites. Korah was the son of Ishar, but his son's name was Asir, the same as is mentioned in 1 Chronicles 6:18. Interestingly, whether the Elkanah and the Abiasaph mentioned as sons of Korah in Exodus 6 are his literal sons or his son and great-grandson cannot be determined with absolute certainty, since Elkanah is a popular name, it seems, in this family. Either way, though, we can know that the Korah mentioned in 1 Chronicles 6:18 is the Korah from number 16, meaning Aminadab in 1 Chronicles 6 is another name for Izhar, and later on down in this chapter we can confirm this. Why do I bring this up? Because go down the line. The final Elkanah, that last one, is the father of Samuel, and we can know that by comparing the genealogy of 1 Chronicles 6 with that of 1 Samuel 1 verse 1. The only difference is that 1 Chronicles 6:26 calls Toa of 1 Samuel 1 verse 1 by Nahash, which likely was simply another name for Toa. Thus, Samuel was a Kohathite, which we knew from 1 Samuel, but not of the priestly tribe of Aaron. He thus worked in the temple and the tabernacle, but not as high priest, as we made note of during our series of 1 Samuel. Samuel, though, was of the house of Korah, which would be confusing had Numbers 26 not said that the children of Korah didn't die with him. Samuel's sons were Joel and Abijah. We met these men back in 1 Samuel 8 verse 2, and what we know about them is that they were corrupt judges in Israel, and they were the impetus for Israel calling on God to give him a king, which he did in the person of King Saul. So as you can see, there's plenty to learn in the names listed here. But we're not done with the house of Levi yet, for in the next lesson, we're going to be talking about the musicians in the house of the Lord, a topic we're going to discuss for the first time in the Old Testament. So please return for that. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of 1 Chronicles chapter 6, verses 31 to 53, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.